Great Scott. Great Scott. Great Scott.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another fabulous episode of Great Scott. I'm Scotty V. Thanks for watching. So, we continue our in-depth coverage of Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. Today, with Wonder Woman. Gal Gadot. What can we say? It seems like even the haters, the detractors, even the people who can't get past the Christopher Reeve films, even the people who won't forgive anything about Superman's alleged darkness, or the fact that he has more depth than the regular, simple Superman that everyone is used to, or they aren't as fun as Marvel movies, seem like they are universally in agreement, finally, that something about the movie, Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman specifically, is fantastic. Now, this is a little hypocritical, but it's okay because I like a little bit of positivity, and in my opinion, I think this is the closest we've ever seen Wonder Woman in live action. Obviously, we've only really had Linda Carter, which was the other. Now, Linda Carter was a much more Christopher Reeve version of Wonder Woman. She was, you know, the all-American hero. She wore the stars and stripes, even though she's from Themyscira in another place. I guess they covered that in the pilot of the old Wonder Woman show. I used to watch it off and on. I have never seen the whole series. I know everybody wanted to see Linda Carter as Wonder Woman, the same as they still want to see Christopher Reeve as Superman. Either thing is just as impossible as the other, even though one is dead and one has simply aged gracefully. She's been in some other things. I believe she was in Smallville as something. It was a nice little cameo, and we could see her again in the Wonder Woman universe. Let's hope. But Gal Gadot was cast, and everybody was, she doesn't have big breasts. She doesn't have big arms. She's not massive. She doesn't look like Xena. Linda Carter didn't look like Xena either, but again, just like with Superman, that's okay. The thing is, people have a nostalgic feeling about these characters, and they connect most with either when they first learned about them or when they first really got into them. And for most people in this time period, it seems like, obviously not little kids, but it seems like the people who are looking forward to a Superman movie have been around since the Christopher Reeve films. They believe that the Superman Returns film was crap. They believe that Man of Steel was crap. But to give the same reason, for Man of Steel, it's not enough like the Christopher Reeve movies. And for Superman Returns, it's too much like the Christopher Reeve movies. The good thing here, with Wonder Woman, it is completely different from anything that happened on the Linda Carter series. She's a badass. She's a warrior. She has a battle cry. She leaps through the air. You know, the old Linda Carter series was a goofy, campy, television-style 60s, 70s show where, you know, people spun around to turn into a superhero, and they kind of made little, I don't know, goofy, corny, quippy lines. And she fought like a guy, a robber or something. There were no doomsday monsters to fight. There was no massive battle to win. There were no powers, really. She's supposed to have super strength and some measured invulnerability and the lasso of truth that no Linda Carter series Wonder Woman could have held Doomsday with a rope. She could barely catch regular criminals running on foot down the street. Now, part of that is certainly budget. You know, if you look at the Star Trek series from a similar time period, or you look at Next Generation or the movies now, obviously the budget makes a big difference in terms of what they're going to do in scope of story and villainy and characters and what she's going to fight. But she calls herself a thief. She is more than willing to kill. She's talked about it. She uses a sword. These are a lot of things that people are up in arms about on Superman, and he doesn't do any of those things. It just, you know, Zod had to go. There was a situation, whatever. They still won't let it go. Many of us understand at this point that had to happen the way it had to happen. Now, we can blame the writers and say we didn't need to put it there. We didn't need to put Superman in that situation. But neither did they need to do it when he killed the Pocket Universe. Zod and friends, which was even worse because it wasn't in the heat of battle. It wasn't in the heat of protecting the Earth. It was after it was all done and they were powerless to stop him from doing anything that he executed them. So, similar idea, but much, much worse in the comics. But somehow we can't see that. This is a warrior Wonder Woman who is willing to hack off limbs, who will steal back things to get what she wants. Now, she says, is it wrong for one thief to steal from another thief? And then Bruce, of course, later on says, I found what you were looking for, but it doesn't belong to you. Who does it belong to? It's a picture of her from hundreds of years ago, and it's on something that she doesn't want somebody to have, so why isn't it her? Whose is it? Bruce's? Is it Lex's? Does it belong in a museum? I mean, whose is it? You know, she's trying to get it back. She's trying to keep herself hidden. She stepped away from the world of man, and now, because of Superman, because of his inspiration, and because the way he made Batman feel about being a hero, she's going to decide to come back into the fold as well. We've got a Wonder Woman coming up with Gal Gadot. Beautiful, gorgeous, Wonder Woman-y. More built than Linda Carter. And you know, I have nothing against Linda Carter. Just saying, for some reason, it's the same with the Christopher Reeve Superman. He can throw the Kryptonian criminals into the abyss underneath the fortress, and then our excuse is, oh no, but there's a cut where they're alive and they're being taken away. That wasn't in the theater, so all we could see at the time, this is long before there were extras, this is long before there were DVDs, this is long before there was internet where they could put stuff on there. From what we could tell, they were dead. Also, he gives up being Superman to be with Lois. Not a very Superman thing to do. Throws away his powers right in the middle of a horrible nightmare situation. He doesn't know about it. But then because of a caveat that's thrown in, but no one said, oh, that's a plot hole. When did anybody ever say that he could get his powers back if there was some green crystal lying around? No one did. This was a permanent thing, but everyone's okay. And I loved it when it happened. I still watch that sequence at the end, crushing Zod's hand, breaking every bone in a human's body. Also not something that most people would consider Superman. Throwing Rocky down the thing into a pinball machine, breaking up the whole place. Yes, he pays the guy, but also beating up on a human that, you know, can't do anything to him. He's bullying the guy who bullied him. It was wrong when the guy bullied him, but it wasn't wrong when he bullied him back. We loved it. I love it to watch it because it's revenge. It's vengeance. The guy gets what he deserves. He's a scumbag. But Trucker and Man of Steel, oh, he'd never do anything like that. I know this is supposed to be about Wonder Woman, and she's just in it very limited, but I love every scene. She is Diana Prince with regality. She seems like royalty. She walks around. She clearly has an air of confidence. She knows what she's doing. She's got little smirks throughout the film. I love that she comes to the aid of Batman when she says she's leaving, she's getting on the jet. She comes down, she saves him, and then he spends the rest of the fight kind of just diving out of the way while she's fighting Doomsday. Superman even goes off and spends some time with Lois, and Wonder Woman's out there rocking it out with Doomsday and doing pretty well. But I guess Superman can see from a distance that he just keeps growing bigger and he keeps getting stronger. And eventually she'll be overpowered because right now she can handle him at what he is, but it keeps getting bigger and bigger and worse and worse. So I just hope that all of the detractors, all of the people who can't get past an older version, a version that's gone, a version that was a little bit silly like the Superman versions, really like what's going on here, because it doesn't seem like those types of people really like much else of what's going on here. And then maybe the Wonder Woman movie will bring them back into the fold. And now we have Jeff Johns that's been announced. I thought this was announced way back in the time of the Green Lantern movie, which was great Johns, by the way, that he was going to be the co-controller of the DC movie universe. A lot of people, of course, saying in response to Batman v Superman's floppage, the $900 million floppage. There could be good things that will help bring in some of these lost fans. Somehow, Henry Cavill's terrible, Superman's terrible, but Bruce Wayne, Ben Affleck as Batman, the greatest thing ever, even though he's doing more things out of character And I understand it because in the course of the story, he's a human being and that's what happened to him. But that's okay because, you know what, all I read about is how Ben Affleck and Gal Gadot steal the show. I don't really hear anything positive about Henry Cavill, which is okay because I thought Ben was great. I knew he was going to be. I said it from the beginning. You can go back and look. Gal Gadot, I was on her train at the beginning. You can go back and look. And I think they both did a great job. I don't know if they stole the show because I think Henry Cavill does a great job too. Maybe because it's his second time out as Superman. People don't mention it or whatever. But I just feel like Superman gets short shift all the time. Whether it's the actor who's playing him or just the character himself. People just really seem to have a hard time and are not very forgiving when it comes to his character. But thankfully we have Gal Gadot and her movie to look forward to. And we have Justice League with all of them in it coming up once again. Thanks everybody for watching, and remember, all the world is waiting for you. Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot, Gal Gadot. All the world is waiting for you.
She's skinny. She doesn't look like Wonder Woman.
Great Scott, I'm Scotty V. So